Now is a great time to buy a house. I know that sounds a little controversial due to today's high interest rates. So when I say now is a great time to buy, there's a few ifs. So if you're a cash buyer, for instance, but I'm going to tell you, like I just told the person I got off the phone with a few minutes ago, her sister was going to be a cash buyer, so that makes a big difference. Now is a great time to buy a house because those buyers that were planning on getting a mortgage, they've since went to the wayside because they've gotten pushed out of the price points that they really liked. You coming in as a cash buyer don't have to worry about whatever the interest rate is nowadays. Now, not only have these traditional buyers with a mortgage been kind of pushed out, but we're also getting into the time of year when it's getting a little bit slower. So that means there's probably less homes on the market, got less buyers. A lot of people don't want to get out in the cold and look at a house. So with less competition, we're starting to see a couple home prices get price reductions, meaning you might be able to get a deal on one. You also got to ask yourself what type of seller is listing their house in the winter. A lot of times this is let's say it can be a more motivated seller. They're listing their house when it's cold and damp and dreary and gray outside, versus most sellers hoping for top dollar are listing their house in the spring and summer when things are green and it's sunny and it's warm and people actually want to get out and look at houses. So you might be finding a more motivated seller in the wintertime and cooler months, which means, again, you might get a better deal. And thirdly, you got to ask yourself, what happened when interest rates dropped last time? When it got down in the 3s and sometimes 2s for some people, it became a frenzy of buyers, which pushed home prices up. We've already seen on Yahoo Finance come out a month ago that said in 2024, they're expecting to see interest rates start dropping again. Do you really want to compete when everybody else is starting to get back on the bandwagon of looking for a house? Probably not. Home prices are going to start going up and you're going to be competing. Just because you're cash doesn't necessarily mean you're the best offer when it comes into 10 different offers on a home. The Yahoo Finance predictors expect the Fed rate, which is not the same as the mortgage rate, but they do go hand in hand, but they expect the Fed rate to drop down to around 3.83% by the end of 2024 and even around 2.83 by the end of 2025. Now, to give you some relation to that, in today's market and the Fed rate, we're at about 5.25%. That could make a big difference when it comes to your mortgage and the flood of buyers hitting the market again. The only saving grace I see when interest rates start to drop, when interest rates started to rise, I talked to a lot of sellers that would love to have sold, downsize or vice versa, whatever, but they couldn't bring themselves to go from the home that they're sitting in, say at a 4% interest rate, to a home that's costs less than their house, but now they're going to be at a 6% interest rate, and they might have an even higher payment than they had at the house they're already at. So it didn't make mathematical sense for them to move when interest rates went up. Now when interest rates come back down, it's going to make sense for them to start looking at downsizing again or even upsizing to something else, which will also bring more homes onto the market, meaning more supply for that demand. I think that's the only saving grace we might see to keep home prices from going out of sight again. Thanks for watching this quick little video, and I look forward to seeing you on a couple of these too. Thanks.